I have bilateral DJD. I have a compressed L2. I have PTSD. I've got sleep apnea. Should I be angry? Should I be pissed off? Should I be resentful? Maybe. But would I do it again? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, in a New York second.
Like here is the original one. It's pretty thin, but then like as complications kept going, like, because around the belly button's really thick because they had to cut a whole bunch out. I got shot on my second deployment. I like grabbed my stomach and I just scooped up this like thickest mass of like nonsense. And I looked at him, I was like, McAwee, man, you gotta check my stomach. He looked over, he's like with just like this despair, because he was just like, there's nothing I can do with that. When I got home, I was just angry. I was so angry. I was just like, I got shot in Afghanistan. I don't want to hear about whatever. You know, your girlfriend broke up with you. Suck it up. Who gives a...
I went through a traumatic event where I would go through these spells where I wouldn't remember who I was, where I was, and what I was doing. And that caused me to wake up to the fact that something was wrong. I thought it would be me failing my country by me applying for benefits, you know. I didn't really need it. I was on the Army time. I am a successful person. I have intelligence. I can do my own thing. Like, save it for those that are that are on wheelchairs. Save it for those that have visible, tangible traumas. I did not see that invisible wounds are equally as impactful in our community as visible wounds.
It's kind of like beating into your head. You're good. You're good. Like that's what you're taught. They even school you when you get back from a deployment. This is what you say to the doc. This is how you act, and then they'll clear you. But I was a disaster. I really was struggling, and I didn't know why. I can't drive down the road and not see a truck or a car that's like heavily weighted down and not think that it's a vehicle-borne IED, or see stuff on the side of the road and think, hey, there's probably a bomb in there. Thankfully, there's a guy at work who I wasn't even close to. He kind of just hit me up like, hey, I know you're in the military too. I went through this thing, it might help you too. And I'm like, nah, I'm good, right? And it was almost like an act of God. He asked me about my deployment and if anything happened, and I talked about like the first IED that went off. And right when I said it, we had an earthquake, and I was like, holy shit, dude, are you serious? And so I went from, I'm cool, talking, no problem, to visibly shaken, and the guy looked at me like, okay, like, come on.
When you're on your way out, I know every branch does this. You go through a program to help you transition out of the military. And what does that program consist of? Is work and education. That's it. They should probably include a mental component, and to bring this idea up and say, hey guys, before you walk out the door, just want to remind you that you've been trained to repress your feelings and not talk about emotion. And that's not the right way to live life. So just think about that. Take care. Like, just a little reminder on their way out the door would probably go a long way.
I don't know how long it took me to get close to normal. Because I was on the pills for so long, I was so addicted to them. I was so addicted to these pills. And I would tell them that. I'd go in, I'm like, I love these pills. I'm hooked on these pills. And they're like, you're not addicted to them, you're accustomed to them. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And it's like, I don't even know who I am. Like, I have no idea who I am. So I had to go off all of them.
How'd you get off of them?
The wrong way. I just went cold turkey twice, and that was awful. I tried it the first time, and I thought about murdering my entire family. like legitimately. I even wrote a short story about murdering my sister, and I left it out for the fine. In like a news format. It was like breaking news, Dump dies of, and that's when I was like, okay, let's go back on the pills for a little bit.
I think that every veteran has to take some responsibility to heal themselves. We live in this culture that doesn't want any stress in their lives. We take pills to get rid of stress. We take pills for this, you know. And there was a point where the VA had me on 5 or 6 different pills. You know, now I self-medicate. I self-medicate with food, good food, exercise, and marijuana. That's what works for me. And that's what works for a lot of veterans. In fact, most veterans that I know do that. But that's not pretty. And that isn't what we're sold, you know, that isn't what comes in a pretty bottle that our doctor tells us is good for us. But you know what? Sometimes we know what's best for us.
After Iraq, I was very dark. I was very depressed. I only had like one person that I could really talk to. On October 17th, 2011, he committed suicide on base in his chew. So the one person that was trying to cheer me up, he couldn't cheer himself up. And he committed suicide. And he had 2 kids and a wife. And it hurt so bad. Because I felt like, oh my goodness, I've been unloading on this man all of my burdens. And this dude, he's on his 3rd tour. He's seen stuff. I was so selfish. I never said, hey, you need to talk about anything. And he killed himself.
The people that helped the most, I think, had the most. It's almost like I don't want to be ID'd as a person that needs help. I want to be the person that's giving the help. I had been having nightmares for a while. And by a while, I mean like from 2004 when I got blown up. And I never talked to anybody about it. I talked to one of my buddies, and he said, yo, Reese, you need to go see somebody. You need to talk to somebody. I never sat down with a therapist before, so I felt a little ridiculous. The truth of the matter was, it was very helpful.
So I agreed to go to this program for veterans, and it was scary. I didn't really want to do it. I tried to leave the first day. It really kind of made me face myself and my issues, but it was super helpful having someone who knows what they're talking about, being able to draw on a whiteboard, hey, this is what's going on in your head right now. It's not, you're not weak, you're not crazy, you know, other people are going through it, and being able to mitigate that through meditation and other practices, knowing that I could heal myself, my whole life changed. Like, I don't believe anyone is lost.
I'm like a firm believer that your body doesn't want to be in pain, and neither does your brain or your heart. Like, they want to fix things. If you just give it a little time, like, give it what it needs. And for me, that was comedy. I've always loved it. I always looked up to comedians, and so I'm like, let's try it. So I started writing. I'd never been so happy, like, I don't think ever. I try not to call it like I use it as therapy, but that's basically what I'm doing. Any problem I have, I just go out there and I just try and make it funny. Now I'm teaching a comedy class, and I'm teaching veterans how to be funny and write jokes, and it's awesome, and I love it. And I get to help so many other people in just like my own little niche way. Oh, on the first date. When I was in a lot of pain, I thought it was gonna be like that forever. It gets better. Like, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna be slow, and it's gonna be painful, and it's either gonna hurt emotionally or physically, but in time, like, everything heals.
Real kisses. Kisses. Good boy.